Yes, sir. All right. Hello. Hi. My name is Hannah Hutchison.
Oh, yeah!
I'm a senior and I directed this one act. It's called The Survivor and Other Urban Legends. If you read the synopsis, it's like a horror. It won't scare you that much, hopefully. I don't know. We'll find out. But they worked really hard, and it's a very difficult one act, and it was very difficult for them and very difficult for me, and it's quite a challenge, and you'll see why. But I really hope you guys enjoy it. They worked really hard, and they're really excited. So thank you guys for coming.
This really happened.
I swear to you.
This is absolutely true.
I read about it in the newspaper.
It was sent to me in an email from someone who saw it.
I wasn't there, but it happened to my uncle's brother's daughter. This really, truly happened.
Would I lie to you? There was this girl that my sister's college roommate went to high school with.
Hey, Dad. How's Hawaii? How's Mom doing?
Her parents went to Hawaii for a second honeymoon, leaving their only daughter home alone to study for the SATs.
Yeah, I made myself some dinner. Tell Mom thanks for the leftovers she had waiting for me in the fridge. The turkey was delicious.
Her parents left their only daughter home alone. But she wasn't alone. Her faithful dog Reggie was lying under the bed.
Yeah, I locked all the doors. Because unlike someone I know, I'm actually responsible. I'm talking about you, Dad. You left the front door wide open when you left. Leaves had blown in all over the living room by the time I got home from school.
But her father distinctly remembers locking the door. He even stopped halfway down the driveway to double check, because he's leaving his only daughter home alone for the next week.
Well, Dad, you are getting older. Maybe you just think you locked the door? Besides, I'm safely locked away in my room, studying. And I have Reggie under the bed to protect me.
But her pet Pooch has been acting strange all night.
Yeah, I put food in his bowl. And when I called for him, he didn't come. I was looking for him, and about an hour ago, I got into bed to study, and when I reached down to get my calculator, he started licking me and scared the heck out of me.
The girl says her goodbyes.
All right, Dad. Love you. And give a big hug to Mom for me. Talk to you tomorrow.
And gets back to studying. But the girl can't concentrate, because a leaky faucet starts to drip in the bathroom. Like the relentless ticking of a clock, it becomes all she can focus on. Eventually, she can't take it anymore.
When is Dad going to fix that faucet?
But it wasn't a leaky faucet she heard. It was her dog, Reggie, hanging headless from the shower curtain rod, dripping blood.
Reggie? Reggie?
But she didn't start to scream. Not until she realized humans can lick hands too.
This really happened. A young woman is driving 300 miles from her small town of Illinois to the big city of Chicago for a job interview. She starts to nod off, but she can't pull over to take a quick nap because her interview starts in a couple of hours. She can't grab a cup of coffee because she hasn't seen a gas station for a few miles. She wishes she had someone to talk to, and that's when she sees the hitchhiker. In her hometown, it was common to pick up hitchhikers going from one small town to the next, but this didn't look like the young farmhands she'd grown up with.
Thanks for stopping, little lady.
No problem.
Are we gonna move on?
Oh, right, of course.
It's a nice car you got here. Still got that new car smell.
Thanks. I've had it for about 6 months.
How much did you pay for it?
Excuse me?
A car like this could go for 15, maybe 20,000.
I don't remember exactly.
Nice ring.
The hitchhiker notices the young woman's new engagement ring, a large princess-cut diamond set in 18-karat gold.
Can I see it?
Sorry, it doesn't come off very easily.
That's probably just the way your fiance wants it. If it means having to cut your finger off to let me take a look, don't bother.
The young woman starts to realize that she has made a terrible mistake. But she can't ask him to get out because there's nothing for miles, just fields of corn. And if she asks him to get out, what's to stop him from taking whatever he wants?
You sure smell good. What shit do you use?
The young woman notices another hitchhiker on the side of the road and decides to pick him up for protection. A young, clean-cut, strong-looking man in a fashionable suit.
What are you doing?
I'm going to pick that young man up.
Didn't your mother ever teach you not to give rides to strangers?
Obviously not. The young man approaches the car and gets in the back seat.
Whew! Thanks for the lift. I've been standing out there for hours.
No problem.
Hey, before we start driving, can I ask one quick favor?
Sure.
Get out of the car!
The two exit the car with their hands up, expecting the worst.
Give me the car keys. Give me that diamond ring, too.
It won't come off. It's stuck.
Then it's a good thing I brought my trusty pocket knife.
No!
And that's when the gruff hitchhiker makes his move.
Quick, get back in the car.
I can't thank you enough. That was amazing.
Mind if I keep this?
What?
It's always nice to have an extra pistol lying around, especially if it's registered with someone else's name. Tell you what, I keep the pistol, you get whatever he had in his wallet. Let's see. $40, not bad. What an amateur.
What are you talking about? And that's when the truth is revealed.
I learned years ago, you don't pull a pistol when there's a passenger. You don't take that chance. Only pull a pistol when you're alone with the driver.
Are you going to try to rob me too?
Of course not. Today's my day off. I'm just taking a trip down to Chicago.
ER doctor is wrapping up a 30-hour shift.
What a night. Oh. Stabbings, shootings, 3 drug overdoses. Whew. This would be a great world if it weren't for all those thugs and punks out there.
I'm gonna go home and soak in a hot tub. My feet are killing me.
Tomorrow, my oldest son goes to college. Did I tell you? He got into Princeton. and
Yes, you told me.
They practically begged him to go. And the full ride didn't hurt either. I want to take him out for dinner, for one final celebration. What's your son's plans?
Well, he's gonna go to community college in the fall, and then...
Well, they can't all go to Princeton. Oh, hey, don't worry. You know, the world needs auto mechanics and refrigerator repairmen too.
I never said that he was
Look
going to...
at this car. I bought it for my son. You should have seen his face the other morning when he saw it sitting in the driveway. But you know, he deserved it. He worked hard. All it took was a little motivation. You know, if more kids these days had just a little bit more motivation, you and I wouldn't have to spend all their nights, you know, plugging bullet holes and pumping stomachs. I'm going to give my son a call and tell him about it.
But he can't get a hold of his son. He leaves him a message as another victim enters the emergency room.
What? Where's Dr. Parsons? His shift started 20 minutes ago. I've got to get home.
Doctor, this man needs immediate attention.
Save him for the next shift. I'm done for the night.
He was in a car accident. He suffered major trauma to his face.
Whoa! You say that again. Not even a mother could identify that poor sucker.
Doctor, do something!
What's the point? He's not going to make it. Smell that? Kid smells like a liquor store. What do you expect would happen if he got behind the wheel of a car after drinking? I'm going to give my son another call.
Doctor!
But he isn't listening. He has more important matters on his mind. Confirming dinner plans is much more pressing than some drunken teenager who selfishly got behind the wheel of a car and tried to drive home from a party. The doctor sees it as another life foolishly thrown away. Nothing to concern himself with. But that's when the phone starts to ring. The nurse hesitates, not wanting to tell the person on the other end of the line that the boy's dying an agonizing death. But the phone keeps ringing.
Hello?
Who is this?
This is Nurse Emerson at St. Joseph's Hospital.
Nurse Emerson? What are you doing with my son's phone?
And that's when it hits him.
Where did you find that phone? My son! My son! A soldier sits at a restaurant having a cup of coffee. He's off duty and heading back home to see his folks for the first time after completing boot camp. He's just about to leave a few dollars on the table and head out when an older woman approaches his table.
Excuse me, son?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind if I sit down?
Don't mind at all, but I was just about to go.
Well, before you go, I'm here with my church group. About 20 of us stop by for breakfast every Sunday after Mass.
Sounds real nice, ma'am.
It is. It is. But you see, I used to come here many years ago with my son. He was a soldier too.
Oh, I see.
And seeing you sitting here today, I thought just for one moment that my baby boy was back home having breakfast with his mother.
I'm real sorry, ma'am.
Don't be. He was a very brave soldier.
I'm sure he was. Did he,
Missing in action since 1972, just outside of Saigon. They never found him, but I've never lost hope. I know that someday I will get a call, and the voice on the other end will say, "I'm home, Mom. They finally let me come home."
anything is possible?
I mean, you look so much like him. Even your eyes have that same sparkle. I hope your parents appreciate you. I hope they tell you that they're proud of you.
Yes, ma'am. My father was in the service, and he's very proud of me.
That's good. I was so angry about Vietnam. When he got drafted, I begged him to run away to Canada. But he was too proud for that. So when he left, I was stubborn and refused to see him off. And then he boarded that plane without ever getting to say goodbye to me. It is my life's biggest regret.
I'm sure he understood. I'm sure he knew you loved him.
Look at me, burdening you with an old woman's regrets.
You're not burdened.
Well, looks like my church group is ready to go. You take care of yourself.
The woman begins to leave, but just before she stops and turns one last time to listen.
Do you mind doing me just one favor?
Of course. Anything.
When you see me leave, do you mind saying goodbye, Mom?
It was a strange request, but how could he deny this woman such a small favor if it made her feel just a little bit better?
Of course.
Thank you.
The woman starts to leave the restaurant. But at the last second, she turns back for one final glimpse of the young Sonny.
Goodbye, Mom. I love you.
The soldier felt good, even though he was taught not to lie. He knew that the good Lord would forgive him for one tiny little thing.
Cash or credit? I'm assuming credit.
For a cup of coffee, I'll pay cash.
20 senior citizen breakfast with beverages comes to $149.58.
Excuse me?
Your mom said you'd pay the bill.
What are you talking about? That woman isn't my mother.
No matter how much the soldier argued, over a dozen witnesses heard him yell out, "Goodbye, Mom, I love you." The soldier quickly pays his bills and rushes out to the park. But the scheming senior citizens are the one back.
And all these stories are absolutely
Positively.
Cross my heart and hope to die.
100%
True.
or so we've been led to believe.
It's pretty easy to believe the unbelievable.
And the better story you tell to go along with.
the more likely it is that someone else will pass it on.
Like a game of telephone. My hot mom Rhonda swore she ate Wonder Bread. Mahatma Gandhi wore ladies' underwear.
Before you know it,
The line between fact and fiction.
Has been blurred beyond recognition.
A young woman returns home to find her doberman pinscher choking by the front door. She can't seem to clear his airway, so she rushes him to a vet who promises to give her a diagnosis as soon as possible. The woman returns home to find a message on her answering machine.
hello, this is Dr. Harkins. Susan, you need to get out of the house immediately. The police have already been called and should be arriving shortly.
The woman rushes out of her house and is met by police. A police officer tells her that the vet removed 2 human fingers from the back of the Doberman's throat. The police enter her house and find a burglar in the closet, trying to stop the bleeding from where the dog bit off his fingers.
But why didn't the woman stay at the vet's office to make sure her precious pet was going to make it?
Wouldn't the burglar have heard the doctor leaving the message and known to get out of the house before the police got there?
Or why didn't he just erase the message and take the young woman hostage?
You want to know why? Because this is
An urban legend.
Don't ever ask why. Ruins the story.
The workman is installing new wall-to-wall carpet in a 30,000 square foot mansion. At some point, he takes a pack of cigarettes out of his pocket to prevent them from being crushed. After completing his time-consuming and tedious job, he notices a small bump in the large dining room. Not wanting to have to undo all of his hard work, he pulls out his hammer and decides to pound down the bump, so that the homeowners won't notice. Satisfied that he has properly flattened the pack of cigarettes, the homeowner's son enters and asks the worker if he's seen his pet hamster.
A nervous couple sends their only daughter to UC Berkeley. She assures them that she will be fine living so far from home, but a few months later, they receive a disturbing letter. Dear Mom and Dad, I am writing to inform you that I recently totaled the car when I was driving recklessly home from my boyfriend's frat. A candle I left burning in my room ended up destroying the entire dormitory. I've gained the freshman 15, well, more like the freshman 85. I've discovered that I have a fondness for Cuban cigars, tattoos, and face piercings. I've dyed my hair black and no longer answer to the name Nancy. From now on, I'll be referred to as the Princess of Darkness. I've joined a cult, I've lost an eye in an unfortunate chemistry accident. I sent your credit card to a prince in Nigeria. Hope all is well. Love, the Princess of Darkness. The couple catch the next flight to California, and when they arrive, they discover that their car is in perfect condition. Their daughter is still cute and petite. Her hair is still blonde. She has not lost an eye. She's not sent out their credit card number or have face piercings. In fact, everything seems fine until the young student informs her parents that she's failed all of her first semester classes. But they're so happy that none of the other stuff happened, they readily forgave her.
A woman leaves her keys in her car as she quickly runs to the mini mart to grab a soda. When she returns, her car has been stolen. She immediately calls the cops, but they can't find her car. Miraculously, she and her husband wake up the next morning to find their car parked in their driveway. On the driver's seat is a letter explaining that the thief had to borrow their car because there was an emergency. And as a token of his appreciation, he has filled up the tank and left them 2 front row tickets to a concert by a big-named artist. The woman and her husband decide not to pursue the matter any further, and they go to the concert, where they have a wonderful time, until they come home to realize that while they were out, they'd been robbed blind.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Where are you going?
To see if anyone left their keys in their car.
Back here. We'll check as soon as we're off stage.
People have believed these tales of the absurd, the funny, and the frightening for years.
And tonight, we're here to reenact the best of the best.
So sit back and enjoy.
The
Survivor.
Good morning, Bernard. The nurses tell me you still aren't eating. I really must insist that you eat. It's been a very long time. Your sister-in-law is due any minute. Maybe she'll be kind enough to suggest some of your favorite foods. Oh, Miss Reynolds, we were just talking about you.
You were, I mean both of you?
I'm sorry, I was talking to Bernard about you. He still isn't speaking.
Oh.
We were just discussing menu options. You see, Chloe, Bernard so refuses to eat.
I can't imagine why. If I were in his shoes, I'd be ravenous.
I know. He's been without food for a long time. Maybe if we're patient.
Doctor, do you think maybe
What is it?
I brought this from home? It was taken of them at their wedding just 2 days before the accident. I thought maybe if we showed it to him, it would get him to jar his memory, get him to speak, to cry, to show some sort of emotion. I just can't stand to see him like this. They were so happy. They were so in love.
I mean, we've tried everything else. I can't see any harm in it. Bernard? Bernard?
What did he say?
I present to you Mr. Bernard Sapp, age 32, average height, average build, average weight. For all practical purposes, a very ordinary man with one very extraordinary characteristic. Bernard is the sole survivor of a plane crash over the Bermuda Triangle. One survivor out of 132 casualties, including his new bride. How could an average man survive 45 days at sea? The answer to that question is much simpler than you may imagine. But sometimes in answering the most obvious of questions, one must first search for the truth in the darkest of places.
I just don't understand it. How could he hate her?
It's all right. He doesn't mean anything by it.
No, you don't understand. Bernard loved Jenny. He loved my sister.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he still does.
No, this is not the type of love that every newly married man feels for his new wife. I have never seen a man so devoted, so caring. For him to say that he hates my sister just doesn't make any sense. Oh. His last name is Sapp, you know. Bernard Sapp. The kind you find in trees. Or his father liked to say, Bernard the Sapp. Our father hated Bernard. Thought he was nothing but a sucker.
He was born a sap, and he'll die a sap.
Bernard was just
Naive.
He's not naive, he's a jackass.
father.
Jenny, what kind of man trades a perfectly good car for a bicycle?
He says riding to campus makes him feel free. That car you sold him just didn't fit his style. So we traded it for a bicycle.
That's not a sound investment.
It's not about the money.
It's not about the money. Everything is about money.
Not everything. Bernard.
Then he is destined to live a miserable, penniless life. And no doubt our mind is going to throw away all that I worked for to go live with a sucker like Bernard the Sap.
He's just gonna finish school. He's less than a year away to finishing his degree in philosophy.
And then what?
And then he'll become a teacher.
A teacher?
It's a noble profession.
It's a guaranteed trip to the poorhouse. He'll be a bum with a college education. With his student loans and your expensive taste,
We thought you could help us out.
I'm not a charity. Let him find someone else to leech off of. That boy has never committed himself to anything, least of all to you.
He asked me to marry him.
Out of the question.
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you.
And I'm telling you, little Jenny with her head in the clouds, if I even see you with him, you will no longer be my daughter. Do I make myself clear? You will have nothing. Not a penny in my inheritance, no roof over your head, no heat to keep you warm, no food to keep you full. So go run off with that fool and see how long love can fight off hunger.
I want to marry your daughter, sir.
Over my dead body.
That's what it takes.
Her father was a very wealthy man. Jenny and I didn't know what it meant to want or need anything. Didn't know what it meant to have to work. So Jenny was left with a difficult choice. Stay committed to the man she loved and lose father along with all the luxuries we had both grown accustomed to. Or leave Bernard in hopes to find someone that father approved of. She chose Bernard, but it didn't last long.
That was the most beautiful woman in all the land.
Did you buy the groceries?
No.
Bernard, we need food. You know, things to eat? It's a necessity.
I know, but we've got things in the cupboard, right?
We've got barely enough hamburger, and these are the last 2 potatoes, which I mentioned to you last night when we were eating potatoes, which I mentioned the night before that when we had potatoes. So sick of potatoes,
Well, they're cheap.
because they taste like dirt,
Not if you put salt on them.
not salt.
Oh. Well, we'll be eating filet mignon once a week as soon as I'm signed on as a teacher.
You've been saying that for 6 months. It's time you found a job.
I know, I'm looking. It's just,
I'm hungry. Got barely enough for dinner.
you can have mine.
What?
I'm not hungry.
Bernard, I can't.
Jenny, I'm always the one saying that as long as I've got love, I don't need anything else. As soon as I get home and see you sitting here, forget all about being hungry.
Bernard, I sent you with some money. Why didn't you buy groceries?
I got something better.
You mean you spent the last of our cash?
Oh, well, yeah.
I thought you just forgot. I didn't realize you spent our money. What piece of garbage did you buy me this time? Another wind chime to lull me to sleep? Or is it another cute puppy that I'll fall in love with only dropped off at the SPCA when we realize we can't afford to feed it?
You don't understand.
Brother was right. You're a sap.
Jenny, please, just look.
What is it?
It's a golden wedding. I know I promised you so much more than this. I know you're not happy living in this apartment, eating this food. And I know that we can't get married. Not yet, but I already feel like we are married. And I've been saving up to get you this. A real ring. Something you can be proud of to show off to people.
Oh, Bernard,
I love you, Jenny.
I love you too.
See, everything's gonna be okay. And
But I can't keep living like this. I need more than this. We're young.
But I love you.
I know, but all these love. Sure, we could be happy for a couple of years, but sooner or later I'm going to resent you. Goodbye, Bernard. Take care of yourself.
But what if I talk to your father?
He'll never accept you.
And what if he doesn't take you back? He said that he wouldn't take you back if you chose me over him.
Of course he'll take me back. I just have to tell him that I made a mistake.
They were both 22. Jenny apologized to father, and he took his baby girl back. I never forgave Jenny for the way that she treated Bernard. Bernard would write letters to her weekly with no return address so that father wouldn't catch on. Beautiful letters of love and hope. Jenny let me read some of them. They were always signed, "Until we can be together." But I knew the only way that would happen would be if he got a job or if father died. Jenny wrote back for 2 years. But then she met someone new, got married, moved away. But the letters kept coming. They were just too sad. I couldn't read them anymore. But even though Jenny was no longer writing back to Bernard, he was never angry or hurt. Just hopeful that one day they would be together again. He wrote letters weekly for 20 years. And in all that time, I never saw Bernard. None of us did. Not until father's funeral. He had a heart attack and died in his sleep. Bernard? Is that you?
Hello, Chloe.
You remember me?
Of course. How could I forget Jenny's favorite little sister?
Her only little sister. How have you been?
I'm fine.
Teaching?
I'm a professor now.
Wow, good for you. Married?
Of course not. Why would I get married?
Sorry, I thought. There's Jenny now.
You know, I'd better get going.
Why? What's it been, 20 years?
Well, something like 21, actually.
I'll call her over.
No, I'd rather you did.
Why not?
Because her husband's probably here and...
Oh, you heard about Frank.
Yeah, what's he like?
Do you want to hear the truth, or do you want to hear what I tell people when I'm trying to be nice?
The truth sounds much more true.
All right? He's a drunk. A worthless drunk. Father set them up and lived to regret it. You know, in his last couple of years, he'd asked about you.
Really?
Yeah. He'd say, I wonder what that sap kid is up to these days. At least he was too poor to get drunk like Frank.
Bernard? Bernard, is that you?
It's been nice seeing you, Chloe. I better get going.
Bernard Sappy, freeze right there.
Jenny! Fancy seeing you here.
Right. How odd for me to be at my father's funeral.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm sorry for your loss.
It's okay. He lived a good life.
Well, tell me about yourself. Married, I hear.
Yes.
Kids?
Frank didn't think it would be a good idea to have kids.
Why not?
He just didn't. I went back to school, became a nurse.
Good for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I hurt you?
No, it wasn't you.
What's wrong?
It's nothing.
You're not acting like it's nothing. Let me take a look.
No, really, I'm fine.
Where did all those bruises come from?
I fell.
Hey, Jenny, how much longer am I have to chat up with these jerks? I'm bored.
I'm not quite ready to go. I need a bit more time.
To do what?
Frank, we just buried my father.
Yeah,
Yeah? Or you could say is yeah.
he was 86. How long did you want him to live?
That's not the point. The point is,
I said I want to go.
no!
Are you going to make me drag you?
Let go. Frank, you're hurting me.
Why do you make me do this? You always make me do this. I don't want to hurt you. You always make me hurt you.
Let go!
Frank, let go of her.
And who are you?
I'm Bernard Sapp.
Well, shut up, Bernard.
Let go of her, Frank.
And what's it to you?
I love her.
You what?
I said, I love her.
successful professor. Jenny was a nurse, and father had passed on. All that stood in their way was Frank. But Jenny took care of that with a quick divorce. Within a year, Bernard and Jenny were married just like they'd always wanted.
It was like they got to start over. Two teenagers in middle-aged bodies. We were so happy for them. We were all so happy for them. They were on their way to their honeymoon. Tropical island, far away from their real lives. Their own personal paradise for a long weekend. But the plane never made it. After a week with no signs of any survivors, I'd given up hope. I thought of it as a cruel twist of fate, a real Shakespearean tragedy. But then that fishing boat found Bernard 45 days later. I can't stand to hear him say that. I know it can't be true.
The ravings of a delirious man. Bernard is going through post-traumatic stress syndrome. When the rescuers found him out there, he was in a deep state of shock. He's just lucky to be alive. You may never again see the Bernard you knew and admired, but don't let that ruin the memories of how happy he made your sister. His words don't mean anything to us, and they probably don't mean anything to him. 45 days at sea with a few bottles of juice and things beverage service, no food.
How could he have survived?
I don't know, Chloe. Only Bernard knows for sure. I think you should go. I can see this upsetting you.
Wait. Listen. His voice. So hoarse.
He was dying of dehydration out there. His vocal cords were shot. It's a wonder he didn't wither away to nothing. How he kept up his weight, I'll never...
Oh my God. He's not saying I hate her. He's saying
Absence may make the heart grow fonder. But for Bernard and Jenny, fate may have been trying to tell them something by keeping them apart for so long. A man whose only food was spawned from his only love. A story that gives the affectionate term of necking a whole new meaning. A modern-day Romeo and Juliet gone terribly wrong. This tale just goes to show that some fairy tales are never meant to come true.
Let these stories be a warning to all of you.
And when heading out to the parking lot tonight, make sure to check the back seat of your car.
it's a small enough town that it'd be pretty easy for someone to find out that you were going to be gone for a few hours at the local high school enjoying a play.
Who knows what may be waiting for you at home? Did you remember to lock all your doors and close all your windows? As you drive up to your house, be aware of upstairs lights suddenly turning out, or shadows that seem to slip quickly past your car. Be sure to keep your loved ones close by your side as you slip the key in the lock to open the front door. Turn on all of the lights and check every room, because you never know. I said you never know what may be lurking in your closets and under your children's beds. And always remember, always remember.
thank, oh my voice, my goodness. We would love to thank our lovely director, Hannah. The characters that we are, as you see them, and we just really would like to thank her a lot.
This is for you. Thank you.